Going to the bottom again. It's already coming out, I can see it. It is moving.
You know, you come to this side, you're gonna caulk it.
I'm gonna leave that in the video. Caulk it real good. It feels so weird.
Coming out.
Why is it coming off this thread?
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It's worse.
Slide hammer difficulties. Did you stop? Talking about our Chinese brothers. It moved it some. Maybe. Yeah, it moved a little bit. Feel it in there. So basically, you can't slide hammer this out. So the slide hammer's breaking, and you gotta have another person hold it down because it wants to jump off. The only thing that seems to be working is this carriage, head of this carriage bolt here. But we don't have the highest quality slide hammer, so we're gonna have to weld it, I think, into that fitting and then try it again. But it has moved a very, very small amount. AMC 20. Huh? I was just about editing. It's gonna be unbelievable. Who's shitting down their leg? I can't help it. Get the Red Clay Traveler's brother on here. Tack it real good. Maximum penetration. You're not getting penetration even with the elephant gun.
Starter of the prices in.
That's all in the cylinders now. Surely it ought to be tacked up now. Huh? You didn't do it right.
Last time we popped that out, you remember we boogered the seal out of there? That helmet.
I tried some. I got the seal puller here.
Oh, well, we just you implode it, can't you?
I don't know. I could implode it. I don't know.
Yeah, start going down with the. Hit it with it down lower like that. See if you can. Yeah. Now then I can take that seat over there.
Can't grab it. Ow. Knocking into the differential in there.
Just leave it out itself like we just did.
I just finally was able to get it in there enough to do that. Come on. Come on now. Get that content. Yeah. Tons of people watching. Yeah, man.
Top. What was that?
This is a spacer. It keeps the bearing from hitting the seal. And it goes in there like that, this step ridge. Finally got the spacer out. AMC featuring designs made by Ford. I don't know if Ford would do this. After all, nobody ever said, you know it's good, AMC made it. Nobody ever said that. It's gotta be good. It's made by American Motors. Got a pretty good gouge in it right there. That We probably just did, I don't know. There you can see where it's spun right there. See that groove? That or that spacer does it because it's got that lip right there. I don't know, but it sure as hell wasn't spinning in there.
You can see it's going right there some, where it's been turning. See it?
Like I say, like you say, the bearing holds it, but really the only thing keeping it in check is those 4 bolts right there. This. These right here. That's basically it.
You got something back to the outside of that race wheel? You got it over?
Yeah. AMC featuring designs made by Ford. I don't know if Ford would do this. After all, nobody ever said, you know it's good, AMC made it. Nobody ever said that. It's gotta be good. It's made by American Motors. Got a pretty good gouge in it right there that we probably just did, I don't know. There you can see where it's spun right there. See that groove? That or that spacer does it because it's got that lip right there. I don't know, but it sure as hell wasn't spinning in there.
You can see it's going right there some, where it's been turning. See it?
I finally got the spacer and the seal out of the tube here. And now we got to get this retainer ring and then the bearing off of the axle shaft. The way I did this last time apparently wasn't the kosher way. What you're supposed to do is drill a hole in this and split it off with a chisel. Last time we cut it with an angle grinder. Then you're going to get the bearing off, take your backing plate off to get to your outer seal. This is the level of just trash design this is. And to think that somebody engineered this and was probably proud of themselves when they went home. It's pretty impressive. We gotta, I think we should use a punch mark. Bang. Auto punch. Oh, this one you don't. This is an oil punch.
What?
They do it?
You still hit it, I think.
F the punch here.
That's that.
I think so.
Huh?
I got the hole drilled in that collar now, so now we're gonna try to bust it off of there with a chisel. Ow. Ow. God. My finger. Split it?
It's so good.
Yeah, that's all the way through it. So what are you supposed to pry it off now? Makes it sound a lot more pleasant in the instructions. This risks a lot less damage to the actual shaft than using an angle grinder. It appears to be through, doesn't it? That was a lot easier than the... Yeah, so you drill the hole in it like that, split it with a chisel. And that's the line where it was at. I mean, this line right there. It's this line. How'd we get that one out? We just busted the cage? Is that what we did? What's the best way to, like that? Oh. Water pry up. Where's that chrome bar here? Steaming pot bearing right there. Cage anyway. Full level of how bad a design this really is right here. Take that off. Here's your outer seal, but you still can't get off over this damn bearing. What's left of it? It goes in this orientation. Spring towards the oil. This is like a half-assed dust shroud that's bent all to hell that we probably just bent. But it's not as bad as the other one. The other side was. We can bend it back around in a better shape. That's how we did it last time. We'll press off the remnants of this bearing here with this this line right there is the edge of where that retainer collar goes. I hope you're starting to grasp the situation, how horrible a design this is. I know maybe some of y'all thought that I was exaggerating it, but I'm really not. If anything, I'm giving it more credit than it's worth. And John Doe is correct. The tapered shaft axles on like a Willys truck and stuff are horrendous too, but they're horrendous for different reasons. And at least once you get them apart, you can change seals without disassembling, you know, literally everything like this. So splines look good. So this normally, furthermore, on the factory axles, this flange right here would have been on a spline like this. this flange would have been on. That's why the factory AMC-20 was a two-piece axle design, which is horrendous in its own right, and why almost everybody that did any even moderate off-roading would switch over to one-piece chromoly or chromoly. These are I can't remember what the brand are. These are a reputable brand, but I think I accidentally spray painted over the logo. We're gonna have to sleeve the race for the housing over here. We're gonna have to put a sleeve on it, which in the end of the world, it's loose in there, but it's still pretty tight. So I'm gonna try to get a sleeve to tighten up that race to go in there, do all this, and then we pop it back together. The reassembly, after you get the bearing back on this shaft, once you get the bearing back on the shaft, really isn't too bad, but we got to get all this cleaned up. We're not going to do it all tonight, but need to at least get this off. And then tomorrow, maybe, depending on what I'm doing, we can get this all cleaned up. Because I want to be driving the Cj5, so we need to get it operational. It's always something. But this is the life you get when you're jacking around with old anything. This could be a Scout, could be a Jeep, could be a Willys, could be a Land Rover, old Toyotas, old Ford, Chevrolets, GMCs, whatever. Anything that's old and crappy that somebody's neglected its whole existence. You watch, a lot of folks watch these TV shows and they see them on there where within an hour it goes from rotting in a field to fully restored, painted, and somebody's driving it down the drag strip. There's a reason why that's bullshit. It's a TV show. If you pay a lot of attention to a lot of those shows, the people in the show aren't even doing the work. They always just show some guy randomly putting a tire onto a wheel. They never show the guy that rebuilt the whole assembly. if it even is rebuilt. Depends on the show. Some are better than others. Now, right now, there's a whole episode on Haggerty's YouTube page about an electric Cj5 Axles. Now, I think you probably already know what my feelings are about this whole situation, but all that aside, the reason why it bothers me is not even necessarily that it's electric, although that abomination does bother me. What bothers me is they keep calling it a damn World War II Jeep. Alright? It's not a World War II Jeep. It never was. Alright? I think it was a Cj5, if I remember. I was so disgusted listening to this guy stand there talking to the guy in the building. He goes, alright, and he points to it and he goes, what part of the Jeep is still a World War II Jeep? None of it. None of it. That's how much. Exactly zero. So, what I'm saying is you get the notion, sometimes people do, that all this stuff is so easy and pleasant. It's always easy, and you can buy all the parts, and the stuff just goes together like it's supposed to. It's not like that. It very rarely is like that. Nothing is like that. You have to have a love and a commitment for this old iron. You have to. Jubal has fought me every step of the way since I bought him. No, it's not him fighting me. It's years of neglect. It's years of neglect. Jubal is in shooting range of being just unbelievably greatness. More than so than he was before. The only reason he's not done now is me. It's my fault. But it's not Jubal's fault. This isn't. But all these other things, his axles being worn out, that's from people not ever taking care of him before. That's from it not being the best designed axle in the world back in the day. Alright? So, what I'm saying is when you get to these points where you're like, you want to push the truck off a cliff. My buddy Brian, whenever he's working on something that's fighting him, he wants to set it on fire. That's his thing. I'm just going to set it on fire and laugh while it burns. Every time you feel like that, just take a step back. It's not worth it. You got to remember back to why you bought this project. All right, I bought the Cj5 because it was close by. It was a 6-cylinder, 4-speed, and it didn't have a tailgate. Because I really don't fancy tailgates on Jeeps. I find them, I like them. They're neat. They're usable. But I wouldn't. You can just reach over the back, and I knew I was going to have a hard time on this one anyway. And the way this is, I don't need it. I really don't. So I bought this Jeep for a couple major reasons. And as far as how it runs and drives, couldn't be happier with it. This is all other neglect. This isn't the Cj5's fault. Now, this shitty design by AMC, that's their fault. But even this fail point here is from a neglect. Then yeah, it would be easier to service if this was a real axle. If they designed it like they had a functional frontal cortex. Yes, of course. But this has been crudely done in the past, so this isn't even necessarily fully the AMC's fault. Right? When I drove this Jeep the other day, this is what keeps me going. When I drove the Jeep the other day with my girlfriend, it was the most fun that you can have. And it cost me nothing. Just driving it around, wind in your hair, driving around. Your girlfriend's loving the Cj5. It's running right. It sounds good. You got the nice little roary sound from your Maxxis motors on the interstate, and it's running good. And how much enjoyment it gets to drive the damn thing. And I think about that, and I think that that's what's worth it. It makes it worth it because most people aren't driving these anymore. I can see a million YJs and QJs and LJs and all that. But when I see another guy in a Cj5 or a 7, there's a little bit of a bond, you know what I'm saying? Except for those guys with 7s. But anyway, there's a little bit of a bond there because there's not that many of them kicking around. Even though they made an absolute ass ton of this Jeep, you don't see them that often, at least not around here. So, I don't work on the Jeeps and Willys because I think they're practical. I don't work on them because I think they're the best vehicle in the world for everyday modern use. They're certainly not. But are they worthy of saving? You're damn skip it, they are. A lot of guys get on there and argue about the best way to save them. And you know my feelings are, if it can be used practically used in its original orientation. Like the Cj5. I'm all about leaving it alone. There's no reason to put a 350 in this. Why would I? Now, if that engine blows up and I can't find a straight 6 to bolt back in it, then that becomes a legitimate thing that you could talk about. But this is a good running straight 6. It pulls this Jeep phenomenally well. It 4-wheel drives off-road phenomenal with that straight 6. It's so damn torquey. It's fantastic. No reason to modify this. But half the Cj5s I see have a 350 in them. Fine. There's a lot worse things you can do than put a 350 in. Now, my brother gives me crap because I'm putting the Dauntless in Jubal. Y'all know that wasn't an easy decision for me because I've always said original is best, original is best, original is best. I maintain that. If you're trying to get maximum money out of a Jeep, an old Jeep, leave it alone. If you think that butchering it and doing all this shit to it is going to make it worth a lot more money, you're wrong. You're not. You can look at the prices of them. They're not. I've seen original trucks that didn't run sell more than modified ones that were running. I've seen it over and over again. I'm putting the Dauntless in Jubal because Jubal isn't going anywhere. Ever. Okay? So I'm not ever going to do anything with Jubal but enjoy him. I would like that if I ever had children, that they ride in Jubal. I'd like that if I ever had grandchildren, they ride in Jubal. Okay? It's not going anywhere. So I'm going to put the Dauntless in it, and yeah, it's going to be different. Yes, it's not original. But the thing is it's a vintage correct swap. It's a swap that they did back in the day. It wasn't uncommon to see a Dauntless and a Willys in the 60s, in the early 70s. That wasn't unusual. There's still plenty of Willys being used in the 60s and 70s. So it wasn't unusual to see that. It's a very common swap. So, and it's not permanent. If for whatever reason I ever wanted to sell Jubal, I would probably put him back factory with his original engine before I sold him because that's the way, at least right now, he's worth the most. Right now, there's a really, really, really nice Willys truck on there for sale. The only thing wrong with it is somebody bothered to put a Ford 302 in it. Now, y'all know I'm no fan of Fords. And I realized that some of their V8s were alright. I've admitted that I like the 289. I think a 289 is a very legitimate swap to put into a Willys. I think it is. The parts availability, they were strong, good low V8s. I think they're good. But in the 302 isn't known for being a horrible piece of shit. But the thing is why put a 302 in it when you could literally put the Stonewall Jackson of engines, the 350, in it. And if you got the right 350, then you've got your distributor in the front, all that. But I'm saying, anyway, that truck is nice as it can be. Almost $7,500 for it. If it was original, it'd be worth more than that. I've sold ones like that truck that were original for more than that. So, it's just, I just find it strange. But the bottom line is that if you want to save a truck and you want to cram a 350 in it, if you do it for the right reasons, I suppose that it's all right. All right? Because at least somebody's saving it. Now, you lose me completely with any of these people. I don't care what the hell the reason is. These people that butcher the tops of them and tub and shave them and cut the fender wells out, ball up the tops and all that crap. There is no excuse for that. It doesn't look good. It's not practical. It's not easy to replace parts, glass, nothing. It's just stupid. That's what it is. It's stupid. And people can say, well, it's their vehicle. They can do what they want. Of course they can. I can't stop them. I'm not world dictator. If I was, that would be illegal. All right? I don't believe in that level of freedom. All right? Hacking up a classic Jeep. I don't believe in it. All right? In the Reckless Traveler's dictatorship, Jeeps are allowed to have Dauntless V6s or their factory engines. You decide, all right? That's what the Reckless Traveler regime will be like. And you have to drive a Willys of some kind. So, I'm just saying. Anyway, I've had enough playing with this, I think. I might tinker with it a little bit more after I turn the camera off. And I might edit out all this crap. I may not even post this video. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I've enjoyed talking to y'all. I'm trying to get the videos stacked up again. I'm planning on doing a lot more content now because I've changed plans and ideas, rearranged priorities on what I'm going to sell and what I'm going to keep. And I think it will be best in the long run for me personally. I think it will be best for the channel. I think I'll be happier with it in the end. I'll end up having to sacrifice some other things that I dearly love, but I don't mess with very much anymore. But I think it would maintain my main love, which is the Jeeps and the Willys and the YouTube channel. So I think it's a worthy sacrifice. Anyway, I love you all. I'm the Red Clay Traveler. And remember, try to get a better slide hammer that has better components and hooks on it. And remember, don't let your heart be filled with rage when your Jeep is fighting you. Remember to love it dearly. I'm the Red Clay Traveler, and never forget, Jeep for life, Willys for life. There's an old Honda Trials bike right there. Jeep for life, Willys for life, Honda, yeah. Get it.